Firstly, thank you to the University of Glasgow, the European Federation of Geologists, and the Geological Society for the opportunity to speak at this COP26 event. We've been invited to discuss large-scale subsurface storage of hydrogen, which is a core business of dCarbonX. And given the monumental importance of COP26 in Glasgow, it's a privilege to participate. dCarbonX is a pioneering geoenergy company focused on large-scale offshore subsurface hydrogen storage to deliver the energy transition. We're also active in carbon sequestration, but today I'll concentrate on our hydrogen business. Let's first consider the headline question: hydrogen, red herring or silver bullet? Well, frankly, and with due respect, it's neither. Hydrogen is in fact a clean, versatile energy carrier, more like a high-quality multi-tool for delivering the energy transition. And once green hydrogen is deployed at large scale, with realistic economies of scale, incorporating industrial learning and operational efficiencies, Bloomberg project it will steadily outcompete fossil fuels in energy markets. And that's commercially why hydrogen is attracting trillions of dollars of investment to achieve global decarbonisation goals. Hydrogen is ideal for energy transfer, electricity generation, clean combustion, fertilizer production, molecular synthesis, and transport fuels. Furthermore, hydrogen can be produced from multiple renewable energy sources and is perfect for large-scale energy storage. dCarbonX is an asset-focused geoenergy company. We're not consultants. We originate and develop projects to deliver the energy transition, raising capital to invest with partners in offshore subsurface assets for hydrogen and hydrogen carrier storage and CO2 sequestration. We are smoothing the energy transition with our partners. For E&P companies, we'll repurpose assets. With industrial clusters, we're solving their decarbonisation needs, and for energy system operators, we're balancing intermittency and solving grid curtailment. We're about developing reliable and resilient subsurface energy management systems to satisfy our partners' needs. From an investment perspective, we're building a rigorously screened, responsible and reliable future-proof portfolio of geoenergy assets. Whilst the founders of dCarbonX have global energy backgrounds, we focus on where we can best leverage our proprietary operational and regulatory experience in Ireland and Britain. We see a valuable interconnected regional energy market here. Europe is decarbonising with a focus on its exceptional offshore wind energy resources. Ireland has the highest average wind speeds in the EU. Indeed, Ireland's tremendous wind energy resources vastly exceed its domestic needs. Norway was like this more than 50 years ago, a small ocean-facing nation with advanced capabilities and blessed with vast natural energy resources. Only in Ireland, it's wind energy, not natural gas, and in Ireland, it'll be stored offshore, subsurface as green hydrogen, not as water pumped up into Norwegian mountain lakes. Ireland can satisfy its energy needs and, like Norway, generate sustainable regional economic prosperity while decarbonising and export renewable energy via green hydrogen to the continent. Germany and the Netherlands, to name just two nations, are already expressing keen interest in Ireland's almost limitless green hydrogen energy resource potential. However, growth in renewables brings increased grid instability, and for dCarbonX, that brings baseload business opportunities to balance the grid. There's a compelling investment opportunity in developing reliable, large-scale offshore subsurface green hydrogen energy storage capacity for Ireland and Britain. The investment case for Irish wind energy blows straight into your face. Ireland's wind resources are world-class. European net zero targets stimulate wind energy investments. Removing grid curtailment losses, which can run to billions of euros per annum, must be cut. And once Ireland harnesses its wind at large scale, the green hydrogen export revenues will bring jobs and economic prosperity whilst making renewable energy affordable, enabling a fair and just transition. The Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland forecasts wind energy capacity growing to over 40 gigawatts by 2050 and attracting a cumulative investment of between 100 and 200 billion euros. Energy storage will only amount to a few % of this investment, but without storage, this renewable energy ambition will stumble whenever the wind stalls. Large-scale offshore subsurface hydrogen storage is key to delivery. Now, electrons make things work cleanly, and hydrogen can generate them. In decarbonisation, we need electrons and molecules. Molecules matter, particularly at large scales and long distances. Natural gas is presently a major energy carrier at the large scale, whilst its carbon needs to be sequestered. Looking to the future, Bloomberg forecasts that by 2050, clean hydrogen will make up as much as 25% of our net zero energy mix, generating a $20 trillion infrastructure investment opportunity, new technologies, jobs, and eventually lower cost energy. The global hydrogen economy is happening. But we must transition from natural gas towards future hydrogen carriers and hydrogen, the clean, versatile energy carrier. dCarbonX is therefore managing its growth project portfolio, evolving large-scale offshore subsurface energy storage solutions in the direction of the hydrogen economy. A key problem facing the accelerating and loosely integrated renewable energy sector is the naturally intermittent supply of wind and solar power. This is illustrated on the left. In red, during excessive wind, the grid can't cope, leading to curtailment losses, whilst during deep troughs in the green, either the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing. These natural dips in renewable energy can impact entire regions, limiting the usefulness of electricity interconnectors between near neighbours. What we need is sketched on the right, a baseload balanced power profile that meets market demand. So how do we achieve that? Simply, dCarbonX deploys power to hydrogen to power recycling using offshore subsurface storage. Excess power from wind turbines is converted to green hydrogen through electrolysis on windy days and stored underground until it's produced and piped to fuel cells, hydrogen turbines, or directly to consumers. The whole process is clean, green, and unseen. The heat from these processes can also be harnessed, enhancing system efficiency. Industrial uses of hydrogen also improve system economics and can help full decarbonisation. Technologically, we're in good shape on energy storage. We have many complementary solutions at various capacity scales across a range of discharge times. The chart on the left shows discharge time versus storage capacity. In the bottom left, flywheels and batteries are good for fast discharge and smaller capacities, good for light vehicles and managing short-term power fluctuations. Passing through compressed air storage and pumped water storage, we find hydrogen and natural gas in the top right. These are the mighty molecular means of energy storage, best suited to delivering long discharge times from hours to years and with gigawatt to multi-terawatt capacities, good for national, regional, and continental scale energy systems. The schematic geological cross-section illustrates three types of subsurface gas storage: depleted fields, salt caverns, and saline aquifers. dCarbonX is building a portfolio with all types of gas storage, ultimately for hydrogen carriers and hydrogen. This will allow us to respond flexibly to market demand, from seconds to seasons, and to balance intermittency and solve grid curtailment. dCarbonX sees great opportunities to leverage E&P experience, repurpose subsurface data, and deploy proven methods to meet Ireland's short and long-term energy balancing needs. Integrating Ireland's large-scale offshore subsurface hydrogen storage system is complex, and that's why we work in partnerships. I don't have time today to discuss each of these, but I shall talk about our ESB partnership. ESB is the leading integrated Irish utility and operates across the electricity market, from generation through transmission and distribution to supply. It is also a strong leader in building the hydrogen economy for Ireland's multi-sector decarbonisation goals. In a significant strategic partnership, ESB and dCarbonX agreed to jointly assess and develop large-scale offshore subsurface hydrogen storage around Ireland. We worked together on licensing, studies, site selection, sanctioning, offshore infrastructure, commissioning and operations. Offshore Dublin, Cork and Shannon, adjacent to ESB's strategic infrastructure. In this ESB energy system schematic, we see that energy storage in red is central and hydrogen is a vital energy carrier. On the left, renewables at scale generate electricity and intermittent surpluses are converted to green hydrogen for utilization, storage and power regeneration, dispatching balanced energy to diverse customers on the right. Offshore subsurface hydrogen energy storage at scale is central to this system and gives it resilience, allowing it to meet growing domestic demands and to underpin future energy exports. I'll briefly summarize dCarbonX and ESB plans in their three main project areas or hubs: offshore Dublin, Cork and Shannon. Firstly, Dublin, or more precisely Poolbeg, the industrialised peninsula in Dublin Bay. Repurposing data and detailed subsurface analyses have identified thick offshore salt deposits conducive to salt cavern development in shallow water. In similar geology across the Irish Sea and the Cheshire Basin, natural gas has long since been stored in salt caverns, which now interest Innovin in their plans to store hydrogen for HyNet. dCarbonX assesses that offshore Dublin salt caverns would store up to 2.1 terawatt hours of green hydrogen energy. That would support the grid at 5 gigawatts for 18 days, whenever the winds are light across Ireland and its neighbours. Our second ESB dCarbonX project area is offshore Cork, and more precisely, the prospective subsurface storage assets are the reservoirs of the Kinsale cluster of fields. Here, offshore storage of 2.3 terawatt hours of natural gas was highly effective at the southwest Kinsale field for 15 years from 2001. This depleted and now substantially decommissioned gas asset once stabilised Ireland's energy system. dCarbonX's proprietary studies point to the Kinsale reservoir storing more than 3 terawatt hours of green hydrogen and/or hydrogen carriers in support of the Cork Harbour area green energy hub. We see this large-scale offshore subsurface hydrogen storage significantly balancing the energy system, restoring resilience, decarbonising the nation, and underpinning significant potential hydrogen energy export opportunities. Our third ESB dCarbonX project area is in the west, offshore Shannon. Here, ESB is repurposing a major thermal power station to transform Money Point into a green energy hub that integrates offshore wind energy, wind turbine construction, hydrogen production, and with dCarbonX, large-scale offshore subsurface hydrogen storage. Our exploration studies have identified thick offshore salt sequences, which would be suitable for salt cavern construction. This will require advances in offshore salt engineering, much like those delivered by the engineers who decades ago solved the challenges from subsurface pioneers in the North Sea and Gulf of Mexico. At 6 terawatt hours, The scale of this ESB dCarbonX green hydrogen energy storage project is twice that at Kinsale. Whilst ambitious, it matches aspirations of those energy majors who are prepared to invest in Ireland within its upcoming regulatory frameworks. The goal is to tap this immense Atlantic wind resource and convey that renewable energy to decarbonise Ireland and thence to the continent using green hydrogen as the energy carrier. So subsurface storage is a strategic enabler from complementary perspectives. From left to right, we evolve from diverse decarbonisation solutions at the gigawatt-hour scale to the multi-terawatt-hour scale of an integrated hydrogen energy system. On the left, with a focus on power generation decarbonisation, subsurface hydrogen storage helps deliver short-term national targets. Then subsurface hydrogen storage ensures security of energy supply and delivers national baseload energy resilience affordably. Moving deeper into integrated decarbonisation, subsurface hydrogen storage can deliver mid-term heavy transport and industry targets. And ultimately, there are prospects for export-driven economic prosperity underpinned by subsurface hydrogen storage. There's a great opportunity for Ireland and Britain to deliver sustainable clean energy at scale across Europe upon a future hydrogen infrastructure with embedded offshore subsurface hydrogen storage. So my conclusions. Hydrogen is a clean, versatile energy carrier, more of a high-quality multi-tool to deliver the energy transition than any red herring or silver bullet. And large-scale offshore subsurface hydrogen storage can deliver the energy transition, playing a central role as a clean, green and unseen strategic enabler of decarbonisation.